Yesterday, we were talking an awful lot about the 2.5 million people on the sick who are unable to work. A lot of that is down to obesity. Today, we're finding out that obese people cost the NHS twice as much as healthy people. Actually, it's only the morbidly obese. You've got a BMI of 40. I mean, frankly, no wonder. I'm amazed you're even able to leave your sofa, let alone go to work. But we're told, you know, working from home and lockdown, long lockdown rather than long COVID may well be the issue. Yesterday, though, the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, said while working remotely had produced exciting opportunities, he was worried about the loss of creativity when it's permanent. He said the default location for workers should be in the office unless there's a good reason to work from home. I hate agreeing with Jeremy Hunt on anything, but he's right, isn't he? Let's talk to James Mill, who's a political and social commentator. Good morning to you, James.
Good morning, Julia. How are you?
Very well, long time no speak. I mean, it really pains me to ever agree with anything Jeremy Hunt says on anything, but it's very interesting. He's the Chancellor saying, well, people should be working in the office. Most of the civil service in Whitehall are working from home. They're not in the office, and they don't even, you know, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, do they? Quite literally.
I agree. I never thought I'd be on a debate where me, you and Jeremy Hunt all agree on the same topic.
I know. Something's gone horribly wrong.
Well, yeah, what's going on? It's all inverted. I tend to agree. I think the functioning form traditionally, call me an old Luddite, of work should be in a workplace. I mean, I can hardly talk. I do work from home occasionally, but I also work in an office as well. And I find my own productivity better in the office rather than at home, where there's a temptation of opening the fridge and eating cheese and possibly daytime TV. So I stay clear of it. But there is a bigger picture here for the civil service in particular, because if you even look at long COVID, the rates of the civil service being off work with long COVID is twice the general public.
I mean, we're all surprised by that. And I wonder what as many people getting in touch yesterday were saying, like, how many of the people who are on this long-term sick and long COVID and everything else, how many of them are self-employed? Because I'm guessing it's virtually zero.
That's it. There's not many self-employed who can afford to be off long-term with long COVID. And there's an irony here of the sort of laptop classes, which I include myself on this, during the COVID era, whereby they were dependent on functioning from people who did go out to work in terms of providing their deliveries.
Oh, but they wagged their fingers. Isn't it outrageous? All these people who are out and about on the streets. Yeah, those are the people who are going to work in the kitchens and in the Amazon warehouses to make the stuff and then deliver it to you in your home while you sit there safely at home, probably wearing a mask in your own bedroom.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's the people who are providing services to keep their home working, electricians, plumbers and so on, farmers providing the food, not just deliveries. It's funny that they were going out to work, but the laptop classes could indulge at home. I would suggest that that whole model, almost like a modern-day version of opium for the masses of working from home during the COVID year, would not have existed in the 90s because there wasn't the technology for it. But the bigger picture separating out, I think, whether it's private sector, then if a company feels it's still capable and productivity levels and profits for people to work from home, have a bit of a work-life balance, fine. That's up to that individual firm. But I do have a problem with the civil service doing that, because we are paying our taxes to make sure that the civil service runs the country
effectively. My rule is really simple. If I can send off for a passport and it arrives 3 days later, if I can, you know, my daughter learns to drive and she can apply for a driving test and she can get one 2 weeks later, then fine, it's working efficiently. But given that everything's got slow and it can't just all be down to backlog, obviously working from home isn't working any better. And that's the reality. When you serve with anything in the private sector, we can say, you're rubbish, you're all working from home, you don't answer the phone, I'm switching banks, or I'm switching this or that. If it's your local council, you haven't got a choice. And if it's the government doing public services, you haven't got a choice. And that's where we have a right to say, get back to the office, get the job done properly, and then we'll talk about you working from home, maybe occasionally in the future.
I completely agree. We are paying our taxes. We demand a certain standard return on investment. With social contractors, we pay our taxes for effective public service. Part of that is making...
when did that start?
Well, maybe I'm just being idealistic old fool here.
I love it when you get all dreamy on me, James. I love it. I love it. Listen, can I ask you, like, look, you and I are very much on the same side when it comes to a lot of these issues now, and on things like, you know, tackling lockdown and getting our rights back and our country back up and running and freedom for people. And it's been really great to be on the same side as you. For many years, we were definitely on the opposite side when it came to Brexit. I'm a staunch Brexiteer. You're a staunch Remainer. We've got the situation now. We've got the would-be Prime Minister Keir Starmer saying he wants to renegotiate Brexit if he becomes Prime Minister next year. He wants closer trading relationship with the EU. He's also talked about, you know, the Labour Party talking about giving up to 6 million EU citizens living in the UK who've chosen not to become British citizens a chance to vote in general elections. Of course, that would also mean in referendums. And then, of course, you had a referendum, you'd have a nice big majority to vote to go back into the EU. Do you trust Keir Starmer to renegotiate Brexit or to go into power and change perhaps who has the right to vote in this country? And do you trust that that will mean that Brexit remains intact or not?
Well, I think Brexit has become like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never quite leave. And I say this as someone who is an annoying Remainer in your eyes. But my view of Brexit, which should have been right at the start, an EEA-EFTA model, which actually focuses on aspects of the Common Market 2.0, which most people in Britain wanted. Yeah. But the bigger picture is beyond that. We've had 7 years of various prime ministers not really getting on top of what Brexit actually means. And that's actually got a massive impact for a lot of our businesses again. It's the uncertainty because the rules of the game keep changing. We have Sunak wanting to renegotiate and doing aspects of that. We now have Starmer. As we're left with even more uncertainty. And quite frankly, whatever side of the debate, that is completely...
Yeah. Can I just say, by the way...
It's useless politics with useless prime ministers. And again, it comes back to that point. We pay our taxes to get some certainty. And businesses are looking at the Brexit arrangement. It's a movable feast. And I suspect it will continue to be that. Yeah. And that is the one thing that unites both sides.
Yeah, the uncertainty is definitely a problem.
And a lack of action.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, say if you want free trade with the EU, they've made it very clear. For us alone, free trade will have to require free movement of people, and that's what people voted against. In terms of free movement, really quickly, just got a minute with you left. Harry and Meghan claimed they were in a near-catastrophic car chase for some 2 hours in New York after this awards ceremony for Meghan the other night. Recollections may vary in terms of what the New York yellow cab driver had to say, and indeed what the police make of it. But what do you make of what they're claiming that has happened?
Do you know what? I find the whole Harry-Meghan thing completely tedious. You know, they opted out of the royal family and set up their life of luxury in California to get away from publicity, apparently. But they're fueling the whole circuit. So we don't know the full details of this, but what I do know about those two is I think they're losing a lot of public support, whether it's books, whether it's strange interviews, all come with a price tag, which is diametrically opposite to the poor me victim status that they portrayed in the first place. They're effectively milking it for their own means. But in terms of my headspace on Harry and Meghan, I try to give it a wide berth because I just find the whole issue completely tedious.
Very wise of you. James Melville, political and social commentator, thank you as always. Great to talk to you.